Big week for Ring of Honor, obviously. Hammerstein Ballroom has a lot of history with the company, but you actually have some history in the building too.
Yeah,
One of the few guys probably still that's on the Ring of Honor roster right now that has actually wrestled there before. So what does it mean? I'll get into your opponent in a little bit, but what does it mean to
sure.
you to have another chance to wrestle in that building again at another point in your career? Like back then, you were at the beginning of your career. Now you're an established name. You've done a lot of great things in AEW. Carrying that over to Ring of Honor, it's another chapter. How do you feel getting a chance to go back to a venue that you have some history with?
Man, in March of 2012, I was told in the Hammerstein Ballroom that I would have my first Ring of Honor match in April in Baltimore. And I was excited because then I knew that I would get to wrestle at Hammerstein Ballroom. And if you fast forward to Final Battle of that year, um, I was relegated to being a manager for RD Evans. And I did wrestle before the show in a 29-second match with Grizzly Redwood. And it definitely wasn't what I perceived was going to happen
Mhm.
if you would have asked me in March. So by that point in Ring of Honor, I had already kind of disliked everything about the company. And what my first run in Ring of Honor was not great.
Mhm.
And it wasn't great for me because of some of the things on my end, but also some of the things that I perceived on their end. Um, so now getting to come back and with the Ring of Honor leadership being under Tony Khan and the way that people are treated now, it is full circle. And it hopefully will bring me a little bit of closure. But at the same time, I want to go out there and steal the show and have a fun time in that atmosphere and get to
Mhm.
feel that energy again. I was there 2013 Supercard of Honor. It was a tremendous night for Jay Briscoe winning his first ROH World Title, and I opened that show with R.D. Evans in a tag match, and I got to feel a little bit of it, but again, my head was in a different place. So now I'm a lot different right now. I'm a lot more mature, and again, as we grow as performers, professionally, personally as well, I like I said, it's just something that I think is really cool to be able to go back there and be in a different headspace, but also, get in the ring with one of the greatest first generation wrestlers in Ring of Honor history, Jay Lethal.
Yeah. And that's another wrinkle. Jay Lethal is it's his first Ring of Honor match since May, but it's actually his first Ring of Honor pay-per-view since Death Before Dishonor 2022.
Sure.
So there's a lot of fanfare for him. There's a lot of attention on that because of what he did for the TV title and the world title in his respective reigns there. I feel like there's a lot of similarities, and I don't know if you'll agree, but looking at your match with Big Boom AJ, I feel like
Mm,
there's a lot of attention on him, not as much on you, and I feel like
sure.
there should be.
Um,
Obviously, there's a reason why people associate Jay Lethal and Ring of Honor, but I I feel like, you're on a little bit of a streak right now where you're doing really great work. You're coming off of the Full Gear match. I feel like, you said you don't want your flowers, so I'm not gonna say that.
yeah,
But like, I do feel like you deserve a little more attention going into this than just, hey, it's Jay Lethal's return match.
sure. Comes with the territory. But you know what? I joke. I don't want the flowers. I don't want the cage match ratings. I want the fans to just have a great time. And as much as part of that is my shtick. Some of it is real. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, here's what I would like. It's not about just getting the flowers and all that. It's just the negativity. We don't need the negativity of when my name gets announced for a wrestling match for people to just be up in smoke about it, up and on. Oh my God, how is this?
Mm.
Why? What is it? What do you think you're going to get out of this, or you're not going to get out of this? That is really I'm already reading it now about Final Battle. And again,
Mm.
I don't take it personally because I do believe everyone is entitled to an opinion. But at the end of the day, it's like, what is the big deal about having somebody go in there and perform? Somebody that is going to go in there, they're going to give you what they're going to perceive as their best. And maybe it's not your favorite, flavor of ice cream, but what I've learned is, and what I think I'm good at, is being able to look at an audience and kind of figure out what they want or what they don't want. And my job as the antagonist in some of these stories is to not give them what they want. That
Mhm.
is my job. And Jay's job tomorrow is going to be give them what they want, right? So yeah, I mean, again, flowers, no flowers, doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, like I said, I would just hope that, if I do get more opportunities, that, they're not just DMing my boss or tagging him on social media and explaining to him why QT should not get to go out there and live the dream that he's been working for the past 20 years. But if they do that, then they're going to do it anyway. But to me, that was always my thing is I just don't understand. I'm a human and I'm a professional, and I try to do what's best for myself, but also what's best for the company at the end of the day as well. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So,
Yeah.
but also, with all due respect to everybody, we've never really told those stories either. The QTV, how that came about, like we never told the real story of why that came about. Same with the factory, same with all these things. And a lot of that reasoning is because if I tell the real story, it takes away from the fun part of what we do for a living.
Mhm.
And if you feel that you're a critical, smarter, really the smart fan, then you should be able to read between the lines and see what's going on. And if you can't, then you're not as smart as you think. And that's
Mhm.
kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah. And I want to address the full gear match because I really enjoyed it,
Sure.
but I want to make one quick point. I don't know if you want to like explain it, but I feel like people took that give me, I don't want your flowers tweet. I feel like people took that completely the wrong way. Like,
Sure.
yes, you appreciate it, but like you just explained to me, the reaction in the arena is what you're working for as a wrestler.
Yeah.
And I
That's
feel
it.
like it
That's
was just taken out of context.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it was the more I saw those things, the more I saw those tweets. It's like, man, at the end of the day, I don't need somebody to tell me that as much as I appreciate it, right? But I don't need that because again, the live audience will tell you everything that you need to know. Because if I'm watching when I was a kid, the live audience reaction is usually the thing that made me react the same way, right? Like feeding
Mhm.
off that energy. Um, and like I said, I mean, the people that had texted me that night after the match with AJ, those are people that I value their opinion and respect their opinion very much. That don't buy tickets to the show. So, like I said, I kind of felt that we had a good night.
Mhm.
But you're only as good as the next thing you do, right? So this is luckily I'm fortunate enough to be able to now go to Final Battle and try to get another opportunity to have people throw more flowers at me.
Yeah. Well, maybe the only thing you want besides the reaction is a Reese's cup at the end of the night.
That's it, man. Oh God, I would die for a Reese's cup right now. Yeah, yeah. Come on, Saturday. Friday night after the match is over, then we could kind of celebrate a little bit.
Come
So
on. That was great product placement. Like
yes, very good.
I'm trying to help you out. New York, throw them.
There you go. Yeah,
No streamers.
no streamers, just Reese's.
So Full Gear, I was behind it the entire time. Like I'll admit I don't watch AJ's content. Like it
Sure.
I just think at the end of the day it's like it's cool that you see a family bonding in that way, and that's what I take from it.
Yeah.
But once the wrestling got involved, I was like, oh wow, like, and this goes to, I think it speaks to like a lot of the celebrities you see now, and I'm gonna say like Logan Paul and Bad Bunny, like all of these guys coming in now, like they're really dedicated. It's not just an appearance that they're doing and like water cooler talk the next morning. Like they have skills that they're showing. I feel like this match that you guys had at Full Gear, like it's everything that a wrestling fan, like at least my generation, like the '80s fans, like it's everything you want. There's a clear good guy, there's a bad guy, there's playing to the crowd. Uh, like you said, you're doing your job, you're getting the crowd to react, and then you have the stuff like, I thought Big Justice hit one of the best looking spears I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
No offense to your ribs, but
Yeah.
and then there's like little stuff like I didn't notice this the first time, but I've watched the match back. Like you did a back handspring up into a step up kick off of the
Hmm.
ropes, and it was like there's like your high flying element almost. Like there's little things in there, and I was just like the diss track, the social media elements, like Like there's literally something for everybody in there. So and you heard the crowd too. It was, it was a really successful match, and I think people should focus on that and not why is this guy in this match or who AJ is, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
Like,
I feel that, and I've said this a lot. I tell it to my students all the time. People come to pro wrestling shows to watch pro wrestling. Look at the Outrunners. They are professional wrestlers, like, and they hit, the kid demographic. They also hit the older fan demographic, right? And like, it's okay to go out there and be a professional wrestler. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, when people pay their money to come watch pro wrestling, that's kind of what they're expecting. And I think if you give them that, in small dosages as well, because the times have changed a little bit and so on and so forth. But, as long as you don't insult the fan,
mhm,
which AJ and I didn't do, and I made sure of that everything we did made sense. There was a place for it. But also, yeah, check as many boxes as possible because this might be his last time out in the ring. This might be my last time out in the ring. But the goal was no. The goal was, hey, by the end of this, people should be super pumped about it. They should understand the business aspect of it as well, and just get lost in the moment. And they really did.
mhm,
And if you watch the video, which you have, I mean, just when Big Justice hits me with that spear, it almost sounds like we've changed the audio, and we didn't because I've seen
mhm,
those fan videos on YouTube as well, and that place just they lost their minds, and that is exactly what professional wrestling is all about. You know what I mean? And at the end,
mhm,
like I remember falling out of the ring after that match and being so happy for what we just
mhm,
accomplished, and knowing the feeling I'm sure AJ had inside to be able to hug his son in the middle of the ring and just everything. I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect in my mind. Now tomorrow with Jay Lethal is a completely different animal, completely different atmosphere, different fan base, everything. And I'm excited for it. It's a challenge for me. AJ was a challenge as well,
mhm.
especially not being on TV and not being able to do everything that you probably could do to build up a match, with the, like I said, with the television time and so on and so forth. But, you know, it's a challenge that I'm ready for. And I think tomorrow night, I think the fans are going to get to see a different side of me that they probably weren't expecting.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, by the end, hopefully it leads to something else.
Yeah. And I think you illustrate a really good point. Like that, like why a fan goes to see a pro wrestling match. And I think have you seen, there's a quote from James Gunn about the Superman suit?
Okay, no. What
Okay.
did you say?
So he basically said, like, there's this big argument about like having the trunks versus not having the trunks on the costume. And he said
Okay,
that he talked to the actor and he was like, Superman's supposed to look like friendly to a kid, like approachable, like safe.
sure.
And he said
Sure.
he should look like he kind of looks like a pro wrestler in that regard, where he's wearing like the red trunks over it. And, you know, like it kind of goes back to like everything's pro wrestling. So if he's relating a
Right.
huge summer tentpole movie like Superman, this icon, he's relating it to pro wrestling. It's like, why can't everybody else figure out like
Yeah.
here's what pro
Yeah.
wrestling should be?
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're scared. I think everyone has this mindset of doing things for a different audience. And, I joked about the cage match rating and this and that. And, but again, at the same time, even like my match with AJ, I don't know what it is now, but I think there was like 200 comments and, 400 votes or what. It's 400 people in the entire world. You know what I mean? Like I can't judge or base my whole career off of that. Is there something to those 400 people? 100%. And they're allowed to have their opinion. I just cannot base my whole career about what those people are saying, especially when you have 10,000 that are giving you their all and giving you their energy. Like I said, to me, that it's a broader audience and it's okay. If I want to sell cheeseburgers, I could try to be McDonald's and try to sell as many as possible. Or I could just have the greatest cheeseburger in the world. I might just have to charge a lot of money for it to really stay
Mhm.
successful as well. There's no right or wrong. It's
Yeah.
it's our business. We are our own entity. So what are we trying to put out there? And like I said, I try to put out a product to the fan base that tries to hit more of them than just that because again, I am a wrestling fan. I am a diehard wrestling fan. I would rather watch professional wrestling than anything else that's on TV. So you already have my money, right? Like at the end of the day, it could
Mm.
be the greatest wrestling, it could be the worst wrestling, it could be comedy wrestling, it could be, hardcore. It doesn't matter. I'm going to watch it. You have my money. And I have that mindset when it comes to, those real diehard fans. Like they're going to be critical, but they are still going to want to watch wrestling. So again, they're always going to be there, for the most part. And as long as you don't really insult them, you know what I mean? Then you can still take those chances and try to broaden it to more people, right? Because the more people that watch AEW, once they do watch it, it's a lot of people still don't know about us. We're so new, but the moment that they do watch it, it's like, wow, this is incredible. I've never seen something like this. And it's like, yeah, we do this all the time. Like this is the norm for
Yeah.
us. And that was the biggest thing was try to get as many eyes on this product as possible. And like I said, it did its job. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that, maybe a little bit of those people that saw me with Big Boom AJ are going to tune into Ring of Honor now and say, I like that guy. I saw what he did. Let me watch this match with him and Jay Lethal. And
Yeah.
maybe it'll do something as well.
Great attitude to have. And I'll end on this. There's a lot of stuff that comes to mind when people talk about your career, whether it's history in Ring of Honor or AEW or even, the Full Gear match. Is there something that you want people to talk about more, or just something you feel like does deserve more attention?
Um, yeah, a little bit. I guess my biggest thing is being selfless. It's just who I've been. It's the way I was brought into the industry. It's just my mindset is a little bit different. And it's not always the greatest choice as a performer. And I think that that's on me. And the fact that I've never told those things to the public of, hey, well, these are the reasons why I wrestle like this, or I did this match, or I did the business this way. Um, I feel like, just know that when I'm out there, there are always, it's not just about me and it's not just about one certain thing, right? There's a broader reasoning for why I'm doing what I'm doing. So if you are that critical fan that really knows a lot about professional wrestling, like I said, just always take that into account as well. But coming back and having these opportunities now as being perceived as this more of a main character, and I don't have this group underneath me or these groups underneath me that I have to worry about other people's careers and so on and so forth. I get to be a little bit more less selfless, a little more selfish, I should say. So I guess that's something that I would really hope that the fans could kind of, latch onto and hopefully just get lost in the moment and have a great time. That's my job. Just go out there, let fans forget about everything that's going on in their everyday life and just have a wonderful experience in professional wrestling, whether they're booing or cheering. Again, if a whole arena is booing me, it's the same as a whole arena cheering me because that's probably the reaction that I'm trying to elicit from them.
Yeah. And I think people forget that you're doing your job. Like
Yeah.
if your boss is
Yeah.
happy, like
Yeah.
I've been there too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you get lost, and then part of it's social media, but like at the end of the day, if you're doing what your boss wants and they're happy, or like that inner circle is happy with your work, like that's what matters.
Man,
So, and
every 2 weeks.
I would say you're doing that. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
all right. Final battle is Friday night. QT faces Jay Lethal. Anything closing remarks before we close this out?
And check it out. Log on, watch ROH. You're going to see some of the greatest professional wrestling. And I said this a lot. This is AEW doesn't really have a developmental brand. I would assume that Ring of Honor could be that. It is that. Some of the wrestlers that are going to be on that event, they might 2 years from now be AEW World Champions. So check it out. You're going to see some of the greatest wrestling. Hammerstein Ballroom is such a cool atmosphere. The energy that's going to be in that building is going to be absolutely intense. I'm excited for it. Everyone should be excited for it. Check it out. Like I said, and tweet at me afterwards and let me know what your thoughts are.
But be respectful.
There you go.
Uh,
Yeah, just do whatever you want. At
uh,
the end of the day, I'm okay. I'm a
uh,
grown man.
all right. And player coach for Ring of Honor. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Might
You
be in
never
your
know.
future. So, all
Yeah, who knows?
right. QT Marshall, thanks for your time. Best of luck Friday.
Yeah,
Talk to you soon.
you got it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.